So Charlie's parents are in Virginia also,
Oh, how
and
wonderful.
hopefully they're going to start watching on YouTube. Um,
Fabulous.
let's give folks a few seconds to join in if they're sitting in a room somewhere waiting for us to start. Um, just wait a couple seconds, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So Charlie, have at it.
Thank you. That's great, Charlie. How long have you been taking piano lessons?
Um, I think it was since 2015.
All right, wonderful. Well, I want to compliment you on a couple of things first. Your staccatos were really, really great. Those sounded so nice. And I also heard some really nice dynamics too. I heard you get softer and I heard you get louder. So that contrast made your song really interesting. Now, one thing that I would like to do is have you scoot your bench back just a little bit and sit on that very front edge. And that will just give you a little more freedom and a little bit more room in front of you. Do you feel like you have a little more room now? Yeah, that would be great. I would love to hear the beginning part one more time. There you go. Now, what dynamic symbol do you have there?
Mezzo forte.
Mezzo forte, right. Now, when we play mezzo forte, that's a nice full sound, isn't it? Not quite as loud as forte, is it? Have you talked, or who is your teacher? Let me ask you that. Who's your piano teacher?
Miss Mary Catherine.
Ms. Mary Catherine? I'm not sure if I know Ms. Mary Catherine, but that's okay. Is it Ms. Mary Catherine used to be McGibbon?
Yes.
Okay, then I do know Ms. Mary Catherine. How wonderful. She was a student at Mississippi College while I was teaching there. How fantastic. Has she talked with you about shaping phrases or getting louder and softer in your phrases?
Yes.
Well, here's a little trick to doing that, especially when I'm sitting here and I have my earbuds and we're on a laptop and we're in two completely different states, right? It's warm at your house right now and it's snowing at my house right now. So when you do those phrases, exaggerate them. So I can hear you exaggerate them all the way in Virginia, okay? So let's do that first part again. Shape your phrases, make them get louder and softer and exaggerate it really nicely. All right, let's go ahead and do the next phrase and then keep exaggerating, getting louder and softer. There you go. Now let's put the whole thing all back together and play the entire piece. Shape your phrases, keep your really sharp staccatos just like you're doing, and an awesome steady beat. And let's hear the whole thing put back together. so nice, Charlie. That sounds wonderful. That sounds super. So how long have you been taking lessons with Miss Mary Catherine? The whole time?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. Well, you'll have to tell her hello for me, okay?
Okay.
But you might have to use the name Dr. Hanberry, like Dr. Rushing mentioned just a few minutes ago. Yeah, because that's what my name was when I was there. Okay, let's see. You're in the key of G, right? Can you hear my piano?
Yes.
Okay. When the notes go higher, can you make them get louder? Like that?
I'll try.
Okay, give it a try. When the notes go higher, you play louder. All right, that is really awesome. I heard that for sure. Now, let's see if we can make it flow so that it sounds musical and so we don't have any extra loud notes just popping out too loudly, okay? So maybe, okay? Oh, wow. That sounded so musical. I loved it. I really loved that. Now let's try something that's not even your piece that you're playing right now. Something completely different. Do you know how to play 5-note scales? Or maybe you call them 5-finger scales? Do you know how to do that? Well, let's do a G scale since you're playing a piece in the key of G. And let's see if we can make it go like this. Can you play more loudly as you go all the way to the top of the scale? Oh, great. Now start loudly here and get softer to the bottom. That is it. So really quickly, I'm not sure how our time is because I forgot to look Dr. Rushing when we started. So you might have to wave your hand in the camera and keep me on track here. But Charlie, a couple of rules that I like to use for music: when the notes go higher, play more loudly, just like you did with your 5-note scale. And then when the notes go lower, play more, what do you think?
Softer.
Right, that's exactly right. So get louder as they go higher, and then softer as you go lower. So that's a really awesome thing to remember that will help you to make sure that you're shaping all of your phrases just right, just like you did a few minutes ago. Okay? You sounded fantastic today. It is so nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Good job, Charlie. So next, Seth is not here today,
Okay.
so we will go with Leah playing her F major Bach invention.
And Leah, I just have to say, I can't believe you're playing inventions now. Before, you were just getting started my last year there, I think, and you were in the Faber book, the purple Faber book. Do you remember that one, the Piano Adventures? You sure were. so fun to hear you play this, Leah. It makes me feel a little bit proud, even though I really didn't have anything to do with it. Thank you so much for that. You've just grown so much as a musician since the last time I heard you play. It's really awesome. So tell me who your teacher is.
Dr. Rushing.
Dr. Rushing. Have you been with Dr. Rushing the entire time since after I left?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. That's great. How wonderful is it to have the same teacher for a really long time and just to grow and get to know each other? I love that with my students that I have here in Virginia that I've had for several years. It's just really great. So this invention is actually the first invention that I learned. So one of the things that I always remember and that I love to share with others when I work with someone on this invention is a little trick that my very first teacher who worked on inventions with me taught me. And for this one, when you play this, now I'm going to have to apologize. My piano is not in really great tune right now. It's always best to wait until after the snowing is done because otherwise it's going to go right back out of tune. So we're kind of at almost ready for tuning season to happen. So if you hear it be a little bit, please forgive it. Okay. We're not quite done with winter here, even though it's technically spring. So my teacher taught me that we can think, and then we go to there. And that is an interesting way of just adding a really nice natural crescendo. And then we go to there. Did you hear it crescendo right through there? Try doing that and imagine saying to yourself, and then we go to there. And there is the focal point of that phrase, isn't it? Or of that motive. So let me hear you do that. There you go. Now let's see if we can just really make a huge crescendo through there, just to kind of make the point a little stronger. And just really land on the top note with a firm, rich forte. That's it. And now that you have put a great crescendo all the way up to that F, what can you do on the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum? You sure can. So let's do a little bit of that. We'll exaggerate it for now. There you go. Now we're overdoing it just a little bit right now, aren't we? So when you actually put it back in the piece, it won't be quite this dramatic, will it? It'll be a little bit less dramatic. But the interesting thing about doing the and then we go to there is that every single time it comes back in the piece, well, here it goes in the left hand. And then we go to there. So every time it comes back, it helps to highlight it even more, doesn't it? So let's do just a little bit, maybe up until measure, maybe until you get right there, okay? There you go. And even in the left hand where you stopped in measure 4, you can still go. It may not be the same notes, but it's the same idea, isn't it? So anytime you have that rest 8th, 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 and then that one more 8th across the bar line, you can use that same idea. And then we go to there. So why don't we slow it down a little bit so you have time to process and think about all of this stuff that I'm just throwing at you right now. So let's think, and then we go to there. And what we're going to do is really the A, the A, the C, and the F minus the Fs that you're playing with your thumb. These are going to be the ones that are going to really do the crescendo, aren't they? So we're going to back off on the thumbs. Okay, so give it a try. There you go. Oh, I heard it. Did you hear it? Did you feel it? Because it's also something that you feel in addition to something that you hear, isn't it? You have to actually feel your body making that crescendo. And I think it feels great. and that it sounds great too. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. So now let's look at these. Start right there and let's do those. Okay, there you go. Now we have 3 measures, actually 4. And then we have this one. And then this one. Something that I think is really interesting about those, especially the right hand, is that you do this, and then you jump a third or a skip lower, and you do it again, and then you jump a third or a skip lower, and do it again, right? Same idea 3 times, like you're going down the stairs. So try doing the first one with the loudest dynamic, and then a little softer for the next one, and a little softer for the next one. Let's give that a try. There you go. And then you feel it starting to want to get louder again, didn't you? I heard you playing louder already right there. So that just creates a little bit more contrast, and it just helps the piece to really move forward and kind of be going like this, doesn't it? Kind of takes you on a ride throughout the piece. Now, there are a lot of different ways to work on music by composers in the Baroque period, such as Bach. Tell me what you know about Baroque music. Or about this piece specifically. What are some of the things that you've been focusing on as you've learned this piece?
We've been focusing on making the 8th notes more staccato and the 16th notes more legato.
That sounds perfect. And that is a really great thing to remember for when you're playing anything by Bach, any other inventions, Baroque music, is that the longer value notes are more separated, right? And the shorter value notes are more legato. That's a great thing to remember. Anything else in particular that you've been working on in this piece?
No.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're... What is Dr. Rushing saying over there? I see you taking a peek. What is he saying over there? All right. So let's go back to this, and let's just go through. Have you practiced it just doing the 8th notes all by themselves? And then, have you practiced just doing those? Yes, well, let's do that right now. And what I'd like for you to do is just crescendo through each one. So, okay, all the way through with the, or maybe not the whole piece, but let's go for at least maybe the first half. There you go. All right, that's fine right there. That's great. That sounds awesome. Now, have you worked on the style or different styles of staccatos? Did you know that staccatos can be played differently? Yeah, so what different types of staccatos have you ever played before?
Like real short, choppy staccatos and
Mhm.
maybe a little longer.
Okay, so you have the really short, really just like that, right? Just super short. And then you have the more whatever, just slightly longer ones, right? So what about a staccato that feels like it's bouncing off the key? Do you think about whether you're bouncing off the key or whether you're playing down into the key when you play staccatos?
Bouncing off.
Bouncing off the key. That works perfectly for this, doesn't it? So let's see if we can get it to be a little more light. Let's try lightening it up a little bit by keeping your staccatos up. And I know I'm talking with my hands a lot, but I'm definitely a hand talker. So let's get those staccatos a little bit lighter. And then they just kind of float and dance across the piano keys. And they're a little softer. That's right. So remember, these are, and then a little softer, and a little softer. Okay? So yes, we were focusing on the staccatos, but let's try and review the getting softer through there. Okay? So start right there on this one. Measure 4. Oh, that's okay. You can stop right there. That is totally fine. That's totally fine. Those staccatos sounded so light that time. They sounded so light and dance-like. And when you have light and dance-like staccatos like that, it really makes the piece come to life, doesn't it, Leah? Yeah. How does it feel when you're playing it like that and it feels like it starts coming to life before your eyes? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you? My screen froze for 1 second right when you were answering.
It feels more musical.
Oh, I like that you chose that word. So what do you think about playing music from the Baroque period musically?
I like it.
You like it? So let me ask Dr. Rushing. Dr. Rushing, are you a let's play Baroque music musically person or let's play Baroque music like a harpsichord person?
Musically, of course.
Musically, of course, yes. Yes, there are, Leah, I don't know if Dr. Rushing has talked with you about this. He probably mentioned it at some point, but there are two kind of different camps, I guess, of piano teachers, and some are very, hey, let's play everything we ever play as musically as we possibly can. And then there are other music teachers who say, when you're playing Baroque music, did you know that actually our piano was not invented yet when this piece was written? Yeah, it wasn't. And so this was probably played, every time it was played, on a harpsichord. Could harpsichords do dynamics like we can on a piano? No, not in the same way. You had to do different things with the manuals and all of that. You can ask Dr. Rushing about that. But they couldn't do the same thing. But with a piece like this, don't you think this is just a brilliantly composed piece of music? It's just fabulous. So in my mind, I would think that someone as brilliant as Bach would have envisioned in his mind as musically as this could possibly be played, even though their instruments that they performed on couldn't do it yet. What do you think? Yeah. So let's do, what measure number? Where did it go? Well, you know what? Let me let you choose a measure number. Where would you like to start? Somewhere maybe middle-ish, and play it as musically as you possibly can. Just imagine you're at home in your favorite place on your piano and you're practicing and you are just getting swept away by this piece.
Measure 12.
Okay, that would be awesome. sounded great. I heard you doing lots of different things. At least through here, it sounded like you were doing lots of musical things. Am I right? Yes, yes. So when you're playing any piece of music, and I tell my students this all the time, any piece of music that you're playing, play it as musically as you possibly can. In that moment, play it as musically as you can. Why is playing musically important?
It adds interest to the piece.
It sure does. It adds a lot of interest for the piece. Just for someone like me who's listening to you, or maybe for you as well, the performer.
For me as well.
For you as well, absolutely. It makes your brain have to think in different ways, doesn't it? And to me, that kind of thinking feels really good. I like it a lot. So let's do one more time. Start at the beginning, all the way to the end. Play it as musically as you can. Keep it dance-like and light. And remember, and then we go to there. Every time you have that idea in the piece, okay? Sounded great, Leah. And I can't tell you how excited I was when I found out that I was going to get to work with you today. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Next is Payne. And Dr. Payne will go for about 15 minutes, and then we'll take 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll take a break until 11, okay?
Okay, that sounds great. Hi, Ming Yang. How are you? Good? Who is your piano teacher?
Dr. Rushing.
Dr. Rushing. Fantastic. Well, let's hear you play the jig. I love this piece of music. What do you think about it? Do you enjoy playing this piece? Yes, yes, absolutely. I can tell that you do when I see you play it. I can tell that you enjoy it very much. Let's slow it down just a little bit, because I feel like in a couple of places I feel like you were trying to keep up with the music. So we want you to always be in control, okay? So let's slow it down just a little bit so you can be in charge of every note all the way through. Let's start at the B section. Right there, okay? Oh, that's fine. You can stop right there. That's okay. That's okay. How did it feel playing it just a little bit slower? Did you feel more in control when you were playing it more slowly? Yes, great. Well, let's go ahead and turn your page where we left off. And let's go even slower. Let's see what happens if we go even more slowly so that you have time to process every note that's coming through your brain and out your fingers. Okay? A little bit more slowly, starting at the page turn. There you go. That was slower than the first time, wasn't it? Does it feel different to you to play it more slowly than when you're playing it fast? Can you explain or describe how it feels different to you? Does it feel better?
Does it feel better or worse? Slowly. Better?
Better?
Better slow, yes.
Great. I'm glad, because to me, when it is a little bit slower, I can enjoy hearing every note that you play. And when it's fast, 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 I can't always hear and enjoy every note. Okay? Yes? Great. Let's do the beginning. And this time, I hear you playing with dynamics, forte, piano. Let's do more. More dynamics, even more. That's okay. You can stop right there. That's okay. I heard more dynamics that time. Yes. Yes, I liked that. It sounded great. So now, this idea, that repeats itself, doesn't it? Every time it happens, can you make it stand out more so that we can hear it more, but still play very musically? Yes, okay. Start at the beginning and make it stand out more. Play that part louder. Okay, there you go. I heard it every time. You are very good at voicing the melody wherever it happens, right hand or left hand. I can hear it very easily when you do it. Now, let's make it flow and make the music dance. Is this a dance? It is a dance, right? So let's make the music sound very light and dance-like. Can you make it lighter? Okay. Let's do a little bit from the beginning and keep it light. Yes, that was much lighter. Now, slower, a little bit slower, and a little bit more crescendo, decrescendo. Yes? Okay. Start where you left off. Start where you just stopped. A little bit slower. Da 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 da. There, I liked that. Through these, it sounded really great. Sounded really great. So I'm not sure exactly how it sounded in person, but I think it sounded nice, really nice. So I love it just that little bit slower so that I can hear everything that's happening. I love it light and dance-like. So let's hear the entire piece one more time, light and dance-like, and a little bit slower. Okay? Oh, yay! Thank you, Dr. Rushing. That's a great idea. Thank you so much, Minyang. That was it was so nice to work with you today and work on such a wonderful piece together. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you, and thank you guys for sitting quietly for the hour. Dr. Payne, sorry, I can't.
That's okay, don't worry. No worries.
I think I'm going to shut down this broadcast and just start
Okay.
another one for the next
All right.
hour.
Sure.
Make sure that we have all 2 hours recorded.
That sounds fantastic.
So let's take about a 15-minute break, and I'll
All
be
right.
back in touch in about 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. I'll
Thanks.
see you then. Thanks.